show you this video. You've seen Lilly Phillips. You told me you went to this thing.
Yeah, I did a video on Lilly Phillips, the lady of 100 men in a day.
Yeah, you told me you went to that, right? You were number 46?
No. I was not in attendance.
Oh, do you want me to just cut this out?
No,
Do people not know that you went?
No, I never gone. I never gone. That'd be ridiculous. I think she's actually across the pond, so it'd be foolish to even go.
I can
book
just
a flight.
censor it if you don't want people to find out.
That'd be a waste of my time to go. Could you imagine being man number 79? That's terrible.
I saw people in line, bro. Yes. That's a moment where, like, if you are in line, homie, what are you doing, brother? Get out of there.
Like, what you have to think about what kind of life that you live, because of course, she being on OF. You probably have a following, or not even just OF. I believe she actually is a legitimate, corn star for all intents and purposes.
Corn star.
Yeah, got to use corn to change up the lettering that's there. But at first, when I discovered the whole video and everything, I didn't know she was legitimate in like industry. I thought she was just, OF girl. So she had a, for lack of a better term, fan base already. So I would assume the vast majority of those who attended were fans of her.
Yeah.
So naturally, I kind of get why they would, because if you're a fan of somebody who's in the adult films, you probably would, to go to the extent of dream about what it's like to be with them. Here's an opportunity. But she was very transparent about the scenario of how it's going down. It's 100 guys in a day.
100 guys.
If you're not number one, why would you want to go and follow? And then furthermore, you're not really getting the experience. It's like, I would assume she's just laying there. You're entering, exiting until you finish, if you can, in the time frame that's allotted to you, and then you go about your day. That's not even a fulfilling session.
Dude, what does that room smell like?
Terrible.
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 Let's not even go that far. At number 40, that room, what does that room smell like? You go one round with your girl with door closed, it's like, oh, something happened here. Imagine 40 rounds.
40 different bodily fluids. And she was talking about how they would ultimately finish on her. I don't know if those were finishing in her. Like there was a lot that was
none
there.
Of these guys were wearing protection?
No, I think there was a lot, because I remember there was a photo, because I added it inside of the video where there was a photo of
You did a video on her?
Yeah, I did a video on her. And there was a ton of like condoms all over the place.
Thank God,
but
right?
I don't know if all of them used one. I would assume because she's filming it, so there's somebody else who's there. So I would assume there's a scenario where, of course, to be safe, you would have your team provide the condoms rather than, I brought my own, and then only to find out they probably cut the top out. Now they just, finished and climaxed inside of it. But it's one of those scenarios where it's like, why would you willfully do this? And then just for context, before we even look at the clip, was she then talked about wanting to do 1,000 in a day.
1,000. She said she went 14 hours, and now she's going to go 24 hours. 1,000 in a day? Like, you got to talk about, well, we'll get into it with the video. So let's roll the video, because this is what I want to talk about.
And I think there was also, she had said, that there was a point in which she didn't think they were going to reach 100 guys.
What do you mean? Oh, she was fading out.
500 people who had signed up, or whatever the case was.
Jesus.
About 200 had responded, but then I guess number of people got cold feet. So naturally what ends up happening, and that's why I think around maybe about 80 or something, she was like, oh boy, I don't think we're going to make it to the number. Let's just start reaching out to different sort of people. I can only imagine what that initial message is like, because you have a desperate woman trying to reach the benchmark.
No.
So you're probably just saying, hey, you said you wanted to, sleep with me. Are you still down for it? Whatever the case, how soon can you be here? Like, that's just, all of that is just a super turnoff. I just
crazy.
Insanity. I could not fathom not being if I was to ever engage, I would have to be the first person. If I'm not the first, there's no way I'm following somebody. And knowing the number, the thought process is, hey, she's doing 100 guys and I'm aware of that and I'm part of the 100. Something's wrong with you.
What's the point? I don't get it. So this was a documentary I guess they did on her, which such a great idea. I want to watch. Thank God someone had this idea to do a documentary on this, because in this video you sort of see the real effect it had on her as a person, which I'm like glad to see that she's not just like completely jaded and numbed to physical affection and sex, that she still is like. So let's roll the clip and we can break it down later.
When was the last time you ate?
I think I had a yum yum, and I think I had a sandwich, and that was kind of, and then the rest.
Oh.
It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different.
That's exactly what it is, sweetheart.
Feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
It's not like just having sex with someone.
yeah, just one in, one out. Like it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
You can see how emotional she's getting.
Bro.
And you have to also take into account the detachment that she thought she probably had with the intimacy portion of the act of sex. Because for you to sit there and say it's kind of like being a prostitute is crazy. Because what did you associate the act with? If she's saying that she hadn't eaten anything outside of a yam yam and a sandwich, and the rest of it is just excrement, right? If that's the case, at one point, these dudes are now unprotecting themselves and finishing on you.
Yeah.
What's the time frame between them finishing on you, you cleaning yourself up, and the next person coming in, or you just leaving this stuff there? Then if you're swallowing,
Jesus.
you're taking all of these bodily fluids and you never once considered, are you mentally gone? But doesn't seem as if that's the case. You're just so detached from the reality of what's happening. You're lying to yourself and convincing yourself what you're doing is not what's actually being done.
Yeah. How long before? So I saw some people saying like Lilly Phillips is 100% killing herself soon.
Without question. It's gonna be.
So it's either she kills herself, she turns to Christianity in a month, or she retires from the game, and 6 months from now she's married.
Probably one of those scenarios.
But I don't think she continues.
There's no way. There's no way, because what happens after, and I think because the documentary is out already now, I don't know if she did the 1,000 guys thing already, but the fallout from the documentary, and then furthermore, the sympathy that she's going to end up getting, because there's always going to be oh my God.
I mean, I already
woman.
feel bad for her.
Right, like what was your upbringing? What did you go through that made you think this was the path to go down?
Yeah.
Naturally, that's probably an emotional kind of roller coaster she's going to go on that she maybe never experienced. And genuinely, she'll have people who probably come out and appear to actually care about her further than just care about her for use of her body.
Yeah.
And that will cause the switch. Because had there been no documentary of what happened and she was just on, yeah, we're doing 100 guys and all right, cool, you would have ended up getting to a point where it's like, all right, you could be like the girl, what was her name? Cagney Lynn Carter, that was her name.
Who's that?
She was an adult film star. She killed herself. And the only reason why I remember it was because Twitter was going wild, where she pretty much shot herself in the mouth with a shotgun.
Oh my
And
gosh.
they said, yeah, that was her last load, right?
No.
And I remember
Twitter said that?
Yeah, Twitter was, people had memes and everything. And I remember it was my friend who sent it to me.
So fucked.
And I was like, what the hell? And then I had Googled who it was. I'm like, oh my God. Wow. She was
her last load.
And I think she was like 36 or something of that nature. Now, granted, if you take into account, there's always another girl who's turning 18. There's always, of those girls who are turning 18, there's a percentage of them who's going to go and hop into the adult films industry.
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody who's much more youthful and attractive. There's a market for the older ladies when they're I don't want to say no longer past their prime, but when you're not the peak of beauty that you once were, and you're not at your high level of sexual marketplace value, and also that kind of attraction. What happens 10 years from now when you don't have that same kind of allure that you had when you were younger?
Yeah.
Naturally, you're going to start to feel a little bit displaced, because all that attention you were living off of when you were ripe and young and just full of all this sexual kind of excitement, when that's gone, what is your identity? You're just that ran through girl who took 100 dudes in a day, took 1,000 dudes in a day, and people will look at you like, ugh, and then move on with the rest of their day. Like, post-nut clarity is real. Like, in the moment, it's like, oh my God, wow, this is awesome. And then once it's over, like, oh, I'm disgusted. Why did I even go through this with this girl? Oh my God.
I hope she didn't do the 1,000 people.
I really hope so too.
Just for society's sake.
I really hope so too.
For the 1,000 guys and her, like, I hope that didn't happen.
And even still, for the guys, I would, although I don't want to say, man, I hope they get like publicly outed about who they were or whatever. Like, how do you live with yourself participating in something like that?
You know, some of those guys were married or had girlfriends too.
110%. It's like, all right.
Some of these guys called out of work for this.
Right, call out of work. Oh man, I get a chance to sleep with my favorite porn star. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna give her a performance. But you're not. Like, everybody likes to think they'd put in their best performance. If it's capped at 5 minutes. And she had a video where, I think in the midst of it, where she said she started feeling bad because they were trying to rush some of the guys out so they can make for time. And they were apparently promised 5 minutes, I guess, at maximum. And some of the people got minimum. 2, right? Oh yeah, 5 at minimum, maybe. So,
oh no, you're right. A maximum.
Yeah,
would
I think
make more
maybe
sense.
a maximum 5, or maybe if minimum was 5, whatever the case may be. If you're somebody who it's like, all right, you came in there, no pun intended, but you didn't get off. Well, then what?
Get back in line.
Right, you get back in line. If it's a situation where it's like, all right, it's 2-some minutes in, well, now you get off. At that point, it makes sense you would leave. But
if you're in line, if you're like 40th, I keep using 40, but if you're in line to bang a girl with 100 different dudes and you're upset, like, you got your priorities all fucked up, dude. Right. You've got your priorities all fucked up. I would never be in that line, but I would also, if for some reason I found myself in that line, I could not wait to get out of it.
Right.
Like, I just don't want to be there.
The idea of, and the video that I had saw when they were recording from the floor, and you just saw all of the sneakers and the slats.
Bro.
And it was at least, in the video alone, it was at least maybe about like 20, 25, 30 some people that's there.
Yeah.
The only way that I think I would be able to live with myself knowing that I'm following a bunch of other dudes is only if when I arrive, nobody else is there. She's just waiting for you. You go, you do what you have to do, and you don't see anybody else. Because believe it or not, although we don't see the guys who participated, I can promise you the guys who were in line saw the other guys who were in line. People probably may have been wearing like masks or something or whatever. Maybe some other people had because they knew their faces were going to be blurred. Like, you see another human being like, yeah, we're both about to just go sleep with the same girl.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, when you're in line for something and there's another dude and maybe something happens, you just, you spark up a conversation. What conversation are you having in that line? Nothing. Dead silence. I wouldn't say
can't
anything.
be talking about soccer. Oh man, you think Tottenham's gonna be good this year?
Yeah,
There's no way.
There's nothing, bro.
No way.
There's
Because you almost would have to build your, because in getting ready for the act 2, I find it very bizarre that it could be somebody who's like, because there's still an element of intimacy that's there. Granted that it's all physical that's happening, there has to be something that you have to flip in your mind to get into the zone, because there's no way I'm getting it up in a situation like this. There's no way.
They got to blue
It's not happening.
They got to blue chew it.
So, and this is one of those things where I look at stuff like this. I'm like, if this doesn't discourage young women from getting into OnlyFans, I don't know what will. I truly don't know what will. Because
I don't know if it'll discourage them from getting into OnlyFans, but it'll discourage them from doing something like this.
Yeah, definitely doing this. But this is one of those things that psychologically, I guess some would try to make an excuse and say, well, maybe she's only feeling this way because she did so many different guys. But what is the percentage of a retired adult film star coming out better on the other side than they did going in? it just, the statistics just does not back it up. And what kind of life do you want to live? Granted, quick money, given what happened with Sophie Rain, $43 million in a year,
that's
whatever the case
insane.
may be. All of these different things, it may appear to be a positive on the front end. On the back end, no pun intended, it's nothing but misery in the future. It's oh my God, it's just a head scratcher.